What's up, Ian here, and this is my review for the Calcini Sweat Pro 3 Sports Wireless Earbuds. Now, before I begin, I'd like to thank Calcini for sending this to me and making this video possible. But guys, rest assured that whatever I say in this video is my own opinion. This video is not scripted, and Calcini will be watching this video together with you guys, okay? So as usual, I'll go through the accessories, the fit and comfort, the design and build quality. I'll go through some features and then do some mic tests, and of course I'll talk about the sound performance of these earbuds. Okay, so Calcini Sweat Pro 3. Now these are now retailing for $20 US. I'll throw a link down in the description below, but I suggest $20 US. They sound really good. Okay, so I do suggest you to get it even before watching this video. But if you guys want to continue watching and want to know why, then please continue watching. Okay, right, so let's go through the accessories first. First, it comes in this box like this, a very nice box actually for $20 US. Very nice picture of the earbuds and very good representation of the earbuds in front. I mean, there's a lot of additional things added to it, but it's, yeah. And then you got some features. This is it's called IPX8 waterproof, okay, but you got to note that Bluetooth doesn't work underwater. Okay, so even if you can bring this to go swimming, you can't hear your music anyway because Bluetooth does not transmit through water. Okay, so just take note of that. Yeah. Okay, so at the back here it's got some specs, so let's quickly go through that. The Bluetooth version is 5.3. The codec that it has available is AAC, A2DP, AVRCP, HFP, and SBC. Now the impedance is 32 ohms, speaker diameter is 6 millimeters, frequency response is 20 to 20,000 Hertz. The speaker sensitivity is 95 dB. The rated power is 5 milliwatts. The phone call timing and the music time, in fact the usage time, is about 7.5 hours. The battery capacity for each earbud is 50 milliamps. Okay, and the charging capacity of the case is 500 milliamps, and the transmission distance is 10 meters. Okay, so that's what's on the box. Now let's see what's on the inside. Okay, you do get a user manual, so I do suggest to read this user manual so that you know the controls. Okay, and then you get a charging cable, so USB-C to USB-A charging cable, right? This charging cable is about half a meter long, and you get some wings, right? So you get wings with rubber with wings, or rubber band with wings, the other one without the wings. So if you just want a minimalistic look, just without the wings, because you don't exercise or you're not going to do any sports with it, you just go with this, okay, without the whatever wings there is. But if you're gonna jump around, run around, then it's better to have this. Okay, so this is extra for you. Okay, and then you do have some ear tips. Okay, so in terms of ear tips, you get 4 different sizes: small, medium, large, and extra small. I think this is the extra small. In terms of ear tips, they're pretty okay, pretty decent, I would say, right? Pretty decent ear tips. Wide bore, okay, and it's pretty common as well lah. So, okay, so nothing to shout out about in terms of ear tips, but I would use my own ear tips if it will fit in the case. Okay, so that's for the ear tips. Let's put that one side, and this is the case. Right, the case itself is pretty normal looking. Right, the hinge is pretty okay. As you open up, it actually doesn't wobble or anything like that. It doesn't shake, so it's pretty firm type of hinge. On the outer shell of the charging case is like a matte finish, so it doesn't attract any fingerprints. Okay, but it's kind of slippery. Okay, so I don't really get much grip to it. Yeah, if it was textured, it'll be good, right? On the side here, you do get a opening seal here that hides the USB-C charging port. Okay, I'm not too sure if this is gonna waterproof this case, but it's just, yeah, I guess splash proof. Okay, now the front here you do get the LED charging indicator, so if it's fully charged it will indicate here. Okay, and there's a finger grip here, you can open it, so pretty normal case lah. Okay, and then the earbud sits right in here. So pretty okay in terms of the build. Is 20 bucks. I'm not expecting too much for this case, but it's actually pretty good. There's no wireless charging, of course, okay, but yeah, that's for the case. Now let's talk about the earbuds. So earbuds, the build of it, I mean, it's plastic as well. The build of it is pretty okay. I mean, it's kind of small, right? It's a very small earbud, and it's pretty light, okay. So for this earbuds, I would feel that it's kind of okay in terms of the design. It doesn't have an odd shape or anything like that, so it does fit my ear pretty well, and it does give a pretty good seal, okay. And yeah, but what I don't really like about is the touch sensor here. Touch sensor is somewhere around here. It's kind of a hit and miss for me, as with so many other touch sensors, not just this one, okay. But yeah, not really not a fan of the touch sensor. Now pairing with the phone is pretty simple. All you need to do is go to your Bluetooth, okay, and then this should go into pairing mode when you take it out from the case. And as you can see, Calcini, and then just pair with it and pair, and then there you go, you're paired, okay. And then it's connected via AAC. So whatever you're listening to is AAC, which is reasonable, okay. And what I hear is also pretty reasonable as well, okay. Right, so let's talk about the features. Well, actually nothing much to talk about features, because there is no accompanying app for this. It's a very, very basic Bluetooth wireless earphone, okay. So what I did with this was that I listened to my music, I played games, I watched movies on Netflix, and I make phone calls, and yeah, watch YouTube as well, okay. So let's talk about playing games. All right, playing games on this is Bluetooth 5.3, okay. But I think the latency on this is not bad. It's not the best, of course. I've tried, but when I was playing Call of Duty, in terms of the gunshots and action itself, on the graphics, in terms of the synchronizing of that, is pretty on the spot. It's pretty good. So I would say in terms of latency, it's pretty okay. I'm not saying it's very good, but good enough for casual gaming, okay, for gaming. Now for watching movies or even YouTube, right? So I watched YouTube on this, and I would say the lips to the sound that I hear, or what the person is saying, is there's a bit of a lag there. There's a bit, right? It's not very noticeable. I have to really look very carefully in order to notice it, but it is there, okay. So there is a bit of a lag when I'm watching YouTube on this, okay. And of course, watching podcasts, listening to podcasts, that's fine, sounds pretty good. And listening to music. Now let's talk about that. Before that, let me do a sound test on this, which is making phone calls. Right, so let me take out my phone and let's record a sound test on this. Okay, I lied. It's not my phone, it's my iPad. Okay, so I paired this Calcini Sweat Pro 3 with my iPad. Okay, and then I'll do a sound recording, and then you guys be the judge on how well these sound on the microphone. So I'm gonna put these into my ears right now. Okay, and then I'll do a sound recording. Let's go. Okay, so this is the sound coming out from the Calcini Sweat Pro 3. How do you think I sound? Do I sound good? Now let's change back to the studio microphone so that you can hear the difference. Okay, so now I'm talking through the studio microphone. Now switch back to the Sweat Pro 3. Okay, now the sound is coming out from this Calcini Sweat Pro 3. How do you think I sound? Okay, so let's stop. Okay, so as you can hear, the recording or the voice on the mic is pretty okay. It's decent. All right, it's not the best, but it's decent for 20 US dollars. I find it's okay, reasonable, acceptable. Okay, now let's talk about sound, as in music. All right, let me show you guys the graph. I measured this. Okay, so this is how it graphs, and honestly, before I say anything, looking at the graph, well, it looks pretty decent. I'm not saying it's very good, but for a $20 wireless earbud, it graphed pretty okay, pretty good, especially this part here. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about the technicalities before we talk about the sound. Okay, technicalities on these, well, they are average. Okay, I wouldn't say they are very good. Soundstage, they are pretty normal. Is wide to the sides, not a very intimate type of soundstage. In fact, soundstage is pretty wide. Okay, pretty good for gaming. Okay, in terms of depth, depth is maybe a bit one note, not much of a layering as well, but it's got a good height, right, for the soundstage. Sound separation and imaging is actually pretty good, right? So I can identify where the explosions are, where the gunshots are coming from. In terms of instruments, the pianos on this side, the percussions on this side. So imaging and sound separation is pretty good. But sometimes on busier tracks, I do find that the sound is a bit inseparable. It's a bit in like in a mixing pot, okay, type of situation. Now for detail retrieval and resolution, I find that is decent, right? For $20, I find that this is performing way above its price point. They sound pretty decent in terms of the resolution, clarity, and the details that it retrieves. So it presents to me for 20 US dollars is pretty decent and is reasonable. I can actually hear, unlike some other $20 earphones which I had. Okay, but yeah, it's pretty good, for 20 US dollars. Okay, so that's for technicalities. Let's talk about the tone and timbre on this. The tone on this is more of a warmish tone. Okay, it's warm and heavy note, and the timbre of this is pretty, it's warm, right? Timbre is warm. The note weight on this is heavy. Okay, so to sum it up, this is actually a very casual, easy to listen to, and well, soothing, smooth sounding type of earphones. All right, listening experience. It's not for critical listening. It's not for analytical type of listening. So yeah, that's the tone and timbre on this. Okay, now sound signature. Sound signature on this is W shape. There's one tip here, one tip here, one tip here. Right, so a W shape type of sound signature is bass boosted, and other than that, it's kind of harmonish, but there's a dip at around the treble region here, which I'll talk about that later. Now let's talk about sub bass. Sub bass has got good rumble. It's got good presence of the rumble. Okay, the graph may not represent it that well, but that part here is got a good type of rumble. It's like very rumbly. Okay, heavy note weight and very engaging type of rumble. It's warm type of rumble. So on certain tracks, especially like trance, drum and bass, that sub bass really hits me. It's really good. Okay, the mid bass is impactful. It's got good punch. Okay, and that punch is really good, right? Especially for true wireless earbuds, is a really good punch. Okay, so for that, bass, I would say, is a good delivery of bass. Just that the sub bass, in terms of the rumble, it doesn't resonate as much. Okay, it doesn't go all the way down to more than 20 hertz. Okay, I find that the rumble is a little bit cut short. Okay, but other than that, the bass department it just delivers. Okay, now for mids is also a bit elevated in terms of the lower mids. Okay, that's where pianos, drums, vocals, even male vocals, that's where these few instruments or vocals, they're being pushed forward. Okay, so in terms of presence, pianos, they sound really good. Violins, they sound pretty good as well. Trumpets, yeah. So in terms of instruments on the lower octaves, they sound present. Okay, but as they go higher to the octaves, then they may sound a bit hollowish. Okay, which is contributed by this part here. But for the lower mids and the mids, they sound pretty good, and the clarity is there. So they do. I mean, mids are being veiled, obviously. Bass is the most prominent frequency of all the other frequencies. But yeah, mids are still pretty clear, I would say. Okay. Now for vocals, male vocals, they shine on this. They've got good authority, good weight in terms of the tone and the presence as well. Pretty good, right? For male vocals, I like pretty engaging for me. I like listening to male vocals on this. But for female vocals, they've got that bite there, that energy there, that presence, that sparkle. It's just that they sound a little bit hollowish, a bit far back, a bit far away, I would say. Yeah, but that's for female vocals, and also for cymbal strikes and hi-hats, and sometimes electric guitars. So and shakers and claps. That's what I hear. They sound a bit hollowish, and I think it's because of this, right, which is the presence region here. So starting at about 3K, that's the frequency starts to slow down, and that's when you hear the sound being hollowish, okay, being pulled back. Okay, so that's what I hear, which is pretty correct, which is what you see on the graph. Okay, treble is being pulled back. Okay, you do have the bite here, right? The in terms of the upper mids, right? This part here, you have a lot of clarity, a lot of forwardness for the treble, right? And especially female vocals as well, and like guitars and trumpets, they get that bite there, the gain there. But as it comes down here, right, it loses that. It goes away, right? It goes further back. So it's that together. Okay, so that's for the treble. I find that the roll off, the airiness of the treble is pretty okay. Cymbal strikes and hi-hats, that's got that natural roll off. Nothing much to shout out about. But yeah, treble department, the only thing I have a gripe about is the presence region. I wish that they don't dip it so far down. I mean, this is about what, 20, yeah, about 15 dB of difference. All right, it dips down 15 dB, and that's a big difference, and it's quite noticeable. If you were to tune this up and if you were to EQ this up, it may not sound natural anymore. Okay, right, so that's for the graph. Let's push it one side. Let's talk about this. No, my actual listening experience on this. I actually, listening on this, I enjoyed myself. Okay, for casual listening, not for critical, not for analytical listening. I enjoyed listening to this in a casual manner. Okay, so when I was listening to my trance, my techno, my heavy metal, pop songs, R&B, drum and bass, this it gave me a very good experience, a very good listening experience. They sound pretty good, very good for $20. And do I recommend this? Yeah, for those of you who likes listening to this kind of genre of music and with the same listening preference like mine, then yeah, $20. This is a no-brainer, right? This is a very good earphone to get to listen to for that price, $20, and for the delivery of that sound, the sound signature you just saw. Yeah, this is a good recommendation from me. But if you were to a classical listener, a critical listener, and you like to listen to solos, female solos, instruments, then this may not be suitable for those kind of listening experience. Okay, obviously it's more fun, right? So you want to have some fun, yeah, I do recommend this. But if you want to have a serious listen to your music, then maybe not. This may not be for you. But overall, $20, you're not gonna go wrong. Okay. Right, so that's my overall review for this Calcini Sweat Pro 3. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Right, that's it for now. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.